going on, boxing fans? We are back here, and as you can see, I got a special guest host coming on with me, man. Let everybody know who you is. I know they probably already know, but let them reintroduce yourself.
What up, though? Y'all know who it is, man. It's your man, Kurt Steele, man. Special day for me and my family, you know what I'm saying? So we're gonna talk about a de facto member of our family, you know what I'm saying? And she's still very much part of, the Steele, Crutchfield family, man. We know Callahan's. We welcome her to all the cookouts. So, you know what I'm saying? You know how we get down. Once you family, you always family.
Yes, sir. So we here. We're gonna talk about this big fight, man, between Claressa Shields and Danielle Perkins. That's gonna be a mega monster matchup, man. It's happening
Mm-hmm.
tonight, and we're gonna get into why it's actually happening tonight instead of happening yesterday. But
Mm-hmm.
first off, man, I just want to recap last night's because that was a big night, man.
Yeah.
David Benavidez versus David Morrell. Um, I think that fight was actually better than what a lot of people thought it was going to be.
Mm-hmm.
Because you really don't know much about David Morrell.
Yeah.
He was like 11-0 with 8 knockouts. But he was a guy who was ducked, and he was actually bigger. He was actually taller than David Benavidez by like an inch, which is hard to believe because David
Yeah.
Benavidez is freaking tall.
He is. He is.
Yeah, but you know what? Benavidez did what he said he was gonna do. But it was an action-packed fight, and actually, I didn't really know if in the 11th round was that a real knockdown. Um, David Morrell knocked him down. It was kind of like a check hook. And he did get knocked off balance, but then he ended up losing a point in that round. So it's like you just basically nullified that anyways. But David Benavidez won that by decision. But it was a good fight. That whole
Yeah.
card was good, man. That whole card was good. But the one thing that I want to take back because I'm a boxer. I
Mm-hmm.
watch the fights, man. So sometimes I tune in to the preliminaries, man. I see what's going on, and something was going on. I think it was Coelho versus Olivo, and or maybe I believe it's Coelho or Coelin, but Coelho was a undefeated fighter, and
Mm-hmm.
he was the favorite fighter, and he got dropped in the second round. Um, and then that ended up being a back and forth fight, and then what I really don't agree with is the last minute of the fight, which afterwards the scorecards read that Olivo was going to win the fight. He was ahead on all three scorecards, and the ref stopped the fight off of two knockdowns from body shots with about
Mm-hmm.
45 seconds left in the fight. I was,
Oh yeah, that's remember Richard Steele and the Pernell Whitaker where you start the fight way too early.
yeah, yeah. Like if you let him finish that fight, he wins. Like
Yeah.
he pulls the major upset over a prospect, and that didn't sit right with me. I was
Right.
cussing at the TV the whole time. Cause even though he hit the I'm not gonna hold you up now. He hit him with a body shot. And his
Mm-hmm.
corner said right before that, he don't like them body shots. Go to the body. And they said that. And he went to that body. He put a combination and ended it with a hook. Bam! Right there. And he ah
A
and
kidney shot.
yeah, he did. Then he went down and he came up with another bam, and then he dropped him in, and then the ref waved the fight off. Like he didn't even get the counting or nothing. I'm like, man,
Okay.
that BS, man. Shame on you, ref. I forgot
Yeah.
who it was, but shame on you. But you know what? Let's get into what we really
Yeah.
want to talk
But
about here,
but I
man.
mean, like, but for Benitez, this is circle back. Like we all know the big target for him. You know what I'm saying? That's Canelo. You know what I'm saying? And he's saying Canelo ducking him. Um,
Yes.
And I can see that, what I'm saying. Well, Canelo's getting in that back part of his prime. He's kind of on his way, on his way out. And he's kind of and now I love this firefighter, but he's kind of going to that Floyd Mayweather. I'm gonna pick my opponents on the way out. So
Mm-hmm.
So he's taking his shots. He's picking his opponents on the way out. I don't think I don't think Benavidez is going to get a fight with Canelo while he's still in his prime. And the preliminaries, man, like for that to happen to that fighter, because a lot of times those preliminary guys, man, sometimes they never make it on the TV. Sometimes they could be
No.
waiting in the arena and they never fight that night. They're ready to go and they get bumped because a fight is longer or a bigger prospect is up. And I hate it for a young man like that, for that to happen where
Yeah.
he, what I'm saying, he could have, just because the guy has a bigger name, he gets kind of put out of put out the way. So I hate that for that young fella. But congratulations to Benavidez, man.
Yeah.
And Morel, man, for a good showing. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Because a lot of times you get fighters that are up and coming prospects and they take a jump, they take a step too far, like Big Baby. Big Baby's last fight, the heavyweight, man, he stepped up too fast.
Mm-hmm.
Got knocked out. So in the heavyweight division.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, but I like it for those young fighters, man. And I hope that they can continue their career. So let's talk about what we came to talk about, man. My big homie, man, my little homie. If anybody doesn't know, Derek Crutchfield. Derek and Jason Crutchfield. So my cousin Jason was the coach who coached Claressa Shields. If you check out the Fire Inside, that is my first cousin. That's my dad's nephew and my Aunt Becky's son. And I'm so proud of what he's done. You know what I'm saying? You look at that fight, like it was some years back, and was like he was actually down here in North Carolina out visiting my other cousin out in Wilmington as a boxing tournament at the Marine base. And they was like, you'll never believe it, man. But Jason, his best prospect is a girl. I'm like, I didn't know he even trained girls. I would never even thought his mentality was to train a woman fighter. So, but for that, man, I've been following Claressa Shields, man. I remember coming back from Afghanistan, and this is back when she was in the Olympics. The first time sitting at my desk watching on my computer. I'm at work, man, because of course of the time difference over there in England, and I'm like, man, this girl is good, and I'm like, she's skillful. I watched the weigh-in yesterday, coming in at 173. Danielle Perkins coming in at 177. Pros and cons for both fighters for me. Big move up for Claressa Shields. Her last fight, her power has came in the heavyweight class where she was more of a, she's a quick hands fighter, in the lower weight classes, but her power and the speed didn't literally leave. You look at that knockout, the last fight, she really didn't have, the speed didn't drop off on her hands. It's just she was able to sit more with the weight on her punches. It made it more powerful. Facing Danielle Perkins is I think she's the first legitimate heavyweight. I think the other girl was a heavyweight just because of how thick she was, but she wasn't like a true heavyweight. She was one of those fighters that kind of went up and down in class weight. Danielle Perkins would never be anything but a heavyweight.
No, she was not.
she's a big girl. Coming in at 177. I want to see what the hydration rate is going to be. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
So I wonder what she's gonna pick up any weight. You know what I'm saying, after the hydration period from yesterday. I'm looking at Danielle Perkins. I've watched most of her professional fights. And she's never fought anyone in Claressa Shields' kind of orbit. Like she's never faced a fighter that's that skilled, that fast, that much defense. Like I've seen her fight some good opponents, some good tough fighters, but she's never faced no one the caliber of Claressa Shields, man. That Claressa Shields is in a category of her own. I mean, like her defense is spectacular, her offense is spectacular. Her feints, her defense. I mean, like, and she's in that Floyd Mayweather class where she's hit and not get hit. Like I've seen her get dropped once, and that was really got her feet crossed, trying to do something else, and you know what I'm saying, and she went down, but she ended up winning that fight, like most of her fights where it's in a unanimous decision. She puts up a lot of points just because of her hand speed. And that's gonna be. I think it's gonna be a problem for Danielle Perkins. I like Perkins. If you don't know what her background is, she's an older fighter. She's in her 40s. She's spent most of her career playing basketball, her sports
Mm-hmm.
career, and then now she switched over to boxing a few years ago. But it's gonna be a big test because that's the biggest fighter Claressa Shields has ever faced, and
Right.
for Perkins, this is the most skillful fighter that she's ever faced.
I think I think first off, Daniel Perkins is a monster. I'm like, man, if I see her, she creep up on me at night, I'm punching her in the mouth. I'm like, oh, I'm sorry, I didn't even know you was a woman. My bad. Like, because she is so. But you know what will be the difference in that is that Claressa Shields spars guys.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? Like she don't spar. She rarely a spar girl.
No, too.
So she's used to taking them on the, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
So I think that's where she has the advantage. I actually think that Claressa gonna knock Danielle Danielle Perkins out.
think so.
Yeah. And people say, man, she's only 15-0 with 3 knockouts. You
Mm-hmm.
know, but I'm telling you right now, like you said about that last fight that she fought, the first
Mm-hmm.
fight at 175, she was able to sit down on her punches.
Mm-hmm.
And I think she's more at her natural weight. If I see her at the weigh in, her shoulders, man, you see them shoulders at the weigh
Yeah,
in, man.
she's swole. Yeah.
I was like, man, I got to looking at my shoulders like, so what's wrong with me?
Oh yeah. Oh
Yeah,
yeah.
but
Um,
she yeah, man, I think Claressa Shields is gonna get the KO. Yeah, that's just what it is, and because Perkins just she just looks a little too slow. You know what I'm
yeah,
saying? Like
she's very deliberate in her boxing style is very deliberate. And if you look at those matchups where she's fought fighters like that, from just Clarissa talking about Christina Hammer and then Savannah Marshall, where she fought those deliberate type of fighters where they have a longer arms, they rely on their jab. Like they don't have a lot of counter because she's a good counter puncher as well.
yes,
So you look at that. I haven't seen that in Danielle Perkins' bag. You know what I'm saying? Like she's always the aggressor, but no one's really ever countered her in her approach. So I'm gonna interested to see like, and one of the things for me is like they've been real respectful as far as the pre-fight. They've
yeah,
talked a
they
little
have,
smack,
yeah,
but
yeah,
they've been real respectful of each other. But I think once they get in that ring, all that respect goes out the window,
yes,
and saying until the final bell goes, you know. But I mean, Danielle Perkins, she's not to be taken lightly, but Claressa Shields is a dog, man. She's a boxer
yeah,
on a whole different level. Like you look at what what she does to other fighters, like she makes them look pedestrian. Like people say all that stuff
mhm,
about Savannah Marshall. Oh, she's the only one that beat Claressa Shields. That was in the amateurs, but she dog walked her in that fight.
yeah,
And
yeah, yeah,
I mean, like, it wasn't even like, and you look at Savannah Marshall, she was like a little heartbroken. Like, she broke her spirit in that fight just because she couldn't catch her. She was not fast enough. Um, and you look at when she fought uh, Francine Deshawn, I kept, yeah. When Savannah Marshall fought her, it was a different, like she could hang with her because didn't have as much speed as Franchon Dezern had as Claressa
right,
Shields does. But I think that's really for me. And to be honest with you, like I grew up watching Jason. Jason was a Golden Gloves champion. I got him, Burson Fieldhouse behind me. That's where they grew up doing the thing. You see Clarissa up there, but Jason grew up. He grew up in that field house boxing. He was a Golden Gloves monster in Flint. Um, Ended up fighting for Kronk for a little while before he changed over to coaching. But you look at one of the things that in this her style that I see that was from his style: hand speed, defense, feints. Things that can make your an advantage where your opponent can't get to you. And that was one of those things that
right,
I saw him and his process as a boxer, and now he turns that into what he does as a coach. And if you look at some of the other fighters he has on his roster, they're the same way. A lot of hand speed, you know what I'm saying? A lot of defense. And I think that John David Jackson, who is Claressa Shields coach now, really helped unlock her power. You know what I'm saying? So he
Right.
just kind of like what do you call it? He built on that foundation that Jason made, and saying just added some tools to her game, which makes her a more dangerous fighter, especially in the heavyweight division, man. Like you said, man, like she's always been a body have a heavy bottom fighter where her legs are strong.
Right.
Saying she generates a lot of power, from that. But going up in the weight class, that just makes it even
Right.
more powerful, man. You look at Claressa Shields, she's the pound for pound women's fighter,
The
and I don't
Guam.
see her coming off that anytime soon.
Yeah.
Because I think some fights have been gifted to Katie Taylor because of her name, because of her amateur career. Not saying Katie Taylor isn't good, but I think even her last two fights against Amanda Serrano, she was overmatched and she didn't win those fights. I think she got gifted those because of her name.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah.
because the last two fights I'm like, Amanda Serrano is beating this girl. I don't know
Yeah.
what the refs are seeing. I know Katie Taylor, she likes that the end of the fight, but I want to see what's going to happen next after this fight for Claressa Shields, because she's talking about going back down to 160, 168, or she didn't even talk about going down to 154.
Right.
She
That.
said some
Ooh.
people talking some noise down there.
Yeah.
I know one person she's
Alicia
talking about,
Bumgarner,
Lisa Bumgarner.
who's
Is
another
definitely
Michigan
one.
fighter.
Yeah. Yeah, she's a Michigan transplant. Uh, and there's just the women's boxing game, man, has been definitely moving up the moving up, and
Yeah.
Claressa Shields is one of the reasons why.
But definitely.
But yeah, you look at this at what's going on in the boxing world, man. It's one of those things where I'm very excited about. Actually, really the women right now, because, and I'll tell you why. They're not afraid to fight anybody. They go up and down weight classes, and you don't
Yeah.
see that a lot in the men. They just kind of just stay where they are, you
Right.
know what I'm saying, and kind of just like Claressa Shields being like undisputed at middleweight, undisputed at was that a super middleweight,
Super middleweight.
at middleweight. I mean, I'm looking at her like you would never like for guys, they usually do that when they're young in their career, because like they'll move up as their bodies mature, and
Yeah.
they'll just
Thicken
kind of
out
get
and
there
then.
and stay there at that weight class. Where you get women, they'll go up and down like as they get older, they can go up and down weight classes because their bodies can I think adjust quicker to the
Yeah.
to the weight difference. But um, I'm
Yeah.
liking what I'm seeing out of Claressa Shields though.
Yeah, I'm like, yeah, the thing that really, the last fighter I know I can remember that went from like light heavy to heavy and then went back to light heavy was Roy Jones. And
That
when he
hurt him.
did that, that
That hurt.
Antonio
That hurt
Tarver
him.
fight, yeah, because I
Ooh,
think
it was
guys'
curtains.
bodies, like
Yeah.
when you put on 20 pounds, or shit, you put on about 30 pounds, and then you lose it again, and then you, man, it just affects guys different. Just the amount, the muscle
Mm-hmm.
mass that they put on, man. I think that hurts, man, a lot,
Yeah.
a lot. So I don't know if that's gonna affect Claressa Shields doing that. I
Might not.
don't. That's
I don't think so.
that's one thing I don't want to say. I don't want to see Claressa Shields accidentally, making a fight harder than it gotta be just because her body is like, you go
Yeah.
from 175 to maybe now you're going back to 160. And then,
Yeah.
you know what I'm saying? Then you move back up to 168. And then you go down to 154 to fight Bumgarner. You know what I'm saying? So I just don't want her to,
Yeah.
yeah.
I don't know if Bumgarner wants to go that high though, and I'll tell you, because she at her weight class,
Geronimo Jr.
what she is, and I don't know if she wants to, like, because she is, she was a lightweight champion, so she's a junior lightweight champion. She's at
Yeah,
130, so I don't know if she wants to go up that high to 154.
yeah, yeah,
Uh, but Natasha Jones is one of those ones. She might go up to 154, and that's the British boxer who's a unified champion. Um, she might want to go up to 154 and get that smoke. So I
Yeah.
think that's going to be the 154. I think Cecilia Breakers, you know what I'm saying? She might want that smoke at middleweight. Um,
Okay.
you
Yeah.
know, but I like I said, I'm a student of the women's game. Shadasha Green been talking a lot of smack. Um, Raquel Miller is somebody who's kind of fell off the face of the earth. Like she's talked a lot of smack for a lot of years, and she just hasn't you know. And even Savannah Marshall talking about she want a
Uh,
rematch, but now she want to talk about she want to go over to MMA and fight her over there.
yeah. Well,
But
that's one thing, Clarissa Shields, that for some people who might not know, Clarissa Shields will mess around that cage.
yeah,
You know what I'm saying? She just loves to fight. Like that.
yep,
Like you ask her, she said, "I just love fighting."
yeah,
Like, and you don't hear that from a lot of women fighters, man. But Clarissa Shields,
yeah,
she just like to like I just like to throw them things, man. So
yeah.
she
It's a
go in the
few.
cage, in the
It's
ring, and
it's only a few women fighters that have kind of like delved into both sides, like Heather Hardy, who had a brain injury. She last fought that Serrano Serrano, and she ended up she's just coaching now. She dabbled between even Amanda Serrano dabbled between MMA
yeah,
and
yeah.
boxing for
And I
back
think
and forth.
Holly Holm when
Holly Holmes, yeah.
she knocked out the superstar. I forgot what his
Oh,
name was. Uh,
the oh man, I forgot who it.
and
I
I
forgot.
forgot she was kind of face of UFC for women for
Yeah,
a
for Widow
while.
because she was tapping everybody out with the armbar. Yeah.
Yeah, but
And you look at fighters like that, man. They're and you don't even get the men that do that. Like you'll get MMA fighters that try boxing, but I don't see boxers switching over to MMA. That they just don't do that.
nope.
Because MMA, because they have so many discipline, they know they can if their stand up game, they can try it to come over to boxing. But there's so much more into MMA where you have the grappling, jiu-jitsu, all that stuff like that, the wrestling. That's a lot of disciplines to MMA is hard because you have so many disciplines you have to deal with
Right.
in that sport. So, I mean, I get it, but you got a fighter like Shields and like I said, Hardy and Serrano, where they're willing to step up and go over to that side, man. But I'm excited for it
Yeah.
tonight, man. I can't wait to watch this fight, man. Of course, because the big homie, or the little homie, but she's a
Right.
superstar right now, man, and she a little petty too, man. She a little petty. You
She
watched the
is.
weigh-in yesterday.
She is.
She a little petty, man, because she had that personal stuff going on with Remy Ma and old buddy
Papoose.
and Papoose was at the weigh-in yesterday. I'm
Yeah.
like, damn,
Yeah.
I'm like, that's
I mean, and for those who don't really follow the battle rap game at
mm-hmm,
all, that just a little quick little thing, man. Like that narrative, that whole Remy Ma, Papoose, Easy to Block Captain. If you
mm-hmm,
don't know, kind of Easy to Block Captain is a newer face of battle rap, and he left URL and went over to Chrome 23, which was started by Remy Ma,
mm-hmm,
and they end up, now they together, and people, Papoose knocked him out. I mean, just what I'm
mm-hmm.
saying, Papoose knocked him out, and Clarissa Shields and kind of Remy Ma went kind of back and forth a little bit,
Yeah,
on the net a little bit, and yeah, so that
it's
kind of
it's
made, yeah.
it's a little messy. It's a little
Yeah,
messy right
but
now.
but yeah, Clarissa wanted to keep it under wraps. Like she's not a big person that wanted to make it public. Like, oh, I'm with Papoose, but
Mm-hmm.
Remy Ma kind of
You brought it
kind of
out.
let everybody know what's going on. Just because her business in the street. Because when you in battle rap and you
Mm-hmm.
and you get into something, everybody know because they're
Yeah.
gonna talk about it. Because there's no limits in battle rap. They're gonna talk about
Mm-hmm.
everything from your husband to your dead relative. Like, and it's just, you know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? So
Yeah.
yeah, but that's
Yeah.
just a
No.
little quick little dive into that,
Yeah.
man.
I mean, like it's one of those things, man. Like you look at it, man. Like I was like, wow, this is kind of crazy because, like, I'm a little older. We kind of keep, what I'm saying, we keep our stuff in house. You know what I'm saying? Mind
Not
your
this
own
new
business.
generation.
Yeah, they tell everything.
Everything.
But it's gonna be a great fight, man. You look at it, and this fight could have happened at the Barclays Center, man. But Clarissa's like, nah, man. I want my homies
Hmm.
and actually the last fight that was at Little Caesars that when Clarissa fought let me get this girl's name right. Her last fight was because I just looked it up and I don't want to
Yeah.
mess this girl's name up. It was Vanessa Lampage Jonice, and that was July 27th at Little Caesars Arena in Detroit.
Yeah.
Actually, Danielle Perkins was on the undercard and was saying like, hey, you know what I'm saying, if let her come see me in the heavyweight division because she's been trying to get a heavyweight title for a long time,
Right.
even though she doesn't have a lot of fights because she, like I said, she's older. You know what I'm saying? You look
Yeah.
at Danielle Perkins, she is I know she's for at least I
I
think
know she's
she's
in her
42.
40s. Yeah.
Yeah, I think she's 42 years old, and you look at her, and I'm like, yeah.
Uh,
But I want to see what's gonna happen with Raquel Miller. She's been calling out Clarissa Shields for a couple years, but she hasn't signed a contract yet. Man, I mean, we'll see what's gonna happen with that, man. But I'm loving what I'm seeing right now out of the women's game, man. Um, I know, like back when Layla Ali was fighting, you know what I'm saying, they couldn't get the purses right. They weren't
right.
paying them right. But like I think this is $1 million fight for Clarissa Shields. So
Yeah. You know what? Her and Layla was kind of beefing back and forth too over the, because Clarissa, she like kind of, she the quote, and Layla took a little, she took a little offense to that, man. And
yeah,
but Layla said, "Hey, I've been working out. I work out all the time." She kind of threw that little
she
caveat in there, man. I'm
man,
like,
Layla Ali don't want that smoke, man.
yeah,
She don't want that
yeah,
smoke, man. I get
right,
it, you know what I'm saying? Because as people as fighters, man, they have their this, they have a lot of ego and they always gonna, think who's the best or whatever. So yeah, she don't want that smoke, man.
Do you
Danielle
think
Perkins
that
is
fight? Do you think that fight will ever happen?
nah, it won't happen. She's too old. She's too old, man. She getting close to 50, man. She's like in her
Yeah,
mid to late like 40s, man. And close to she was like 29, 30, man. That'd be
yeah,
a whitewash. So like and I can say this is the same thing about Layla Ali as far as I can say about Danielle Perkins. Layla Ali never fought a fighter the caliber of Clarissa Shields. Like she never
right,
fought like those fighters back then. Not saying she wasn't good because she was, but she didn't face fighter of Clarissa Shields caliber.
right, right.
Yeah, but I mean Danielle Perkins is 42. She's a southpaw, big girl, 6 feet.
Yeah,
Her reach is ridiculous. Yeah,
yeah.
72 inch reach. Like
That's like
that's
that's
like
like almost Lennox Lewis. I think Lennox Lewis had like a 75-inch reach or
yeah,
74 inch. Yeah,
yeah.
so
She got that grown person reach, man. But see, my thing is with her is that she's only had 5 professional fights, man.
yeah, that's because she's also been ducked so many times
Yeah,
because of
she
that
has
frame, because of how
that
big
frame.
she
Yeah,
is and how intimidating she looks. She's
yeah,
probably been ducked about five or six fights that should have happened that didn't happen. So when you
yeah,
look at that, she only got 5 fights. You look at that, but then you got to answer the duck factor.
yeah. And and,
you know,
and being and being that she's she is who she is and how she looks. She is a very statuesque, what I'm saying, fighter. But one thing I haven't seen out of her, and I don't think she's ever had to deal with it. It like no one makes her crouch down. She's a very tall, statuesque fighter, and that definitely
yeah,
that you know
that
you got
boxer
to
don't beat that up.
yeah you got to bend them knees.
Boxer, a real boxer, you
Yeah,
standing up tall. That's like the European fighters. That's
yeah,
the reason why they get washed when they come over here and fight is because they fight
yeah.
so straight up. And
But
boxers,
like
we bend, move out
Christina
the way.
Hammer, that was her problem with Shields, and so was Savannah Marshall. That was their issue. They were too tall and statuesque. They just relied on that reach, and she, once she can get into that, get into that space where she can break that reach,
Yeah,
that's a breakdown right there. But
yeah,
I'm gonna say you said Clarissa by knockout. For me,
Yeah,
I'm gonna say Clarissa by decision. I think it goes the 10 rounds. And I think for me, I think it's time for the women to fight 3 minute rounds and go for, and
yeah,
championship bouts should be 12. If they can have the same standard in MMA for the women and the men as the championship fights are 5 minute rounds, it needs to be the same in boxing.
yeah. Yeah,
Yeah.
you know what? And the reason why I said Clarissa Shields by knockout, because I think in the beginning, Danielle Perkins is gonna play the length game.
Mm-hmm.
But I think Clarissa Shields is so she boxed with all men. So she gonna
Mm-hmm.
be, she gonna get in. Once she get in there, she gonna stay there. She gonna put something on Perkins' chin. I'm telling you
Yeah.
right now. And you
It,
gonna see Timber. You gonna
I,
see that.
it is, and the thing is, especially if it goes into the later rounds, Danielle Perkins, I don't think she's ever fought outside of a 6 round fight.
Right.
I think this is her first 10 round. This is her first 10 rounder. That conditioning is a
Yeah,
factor.
it does. I'm telling you right now, I fought a fight against Leo Nolan, and
Mm-hmm.
he actually his next fight, he ended up fighting the one Russian who just recently retired. Not I can't remember his name, but he fought Alexander Povetkin. So
Mm-hmm.
he ended up fighting him the next fight. So he had picked me as a bout because he thought like it's a little tune up fight. It was an eight
Mm-hmm.
round fight, like it's a little tune up. Nah, bro. Nah. It wasn't like, and he gassed out in the third round because he thought he was just going, and I took it to his ass, man. So that conditioning, I'm telling you,
Mm-hmm.
man, like I trained for a 12-round fight, even though it was only 8 rounds.
Yeah.
And you could tell he didn't really, he trained for like a 4-round fight. You could tell, man, because that condition, I'm telling you, when you get to that, and to the 6th round, and that's all she used to. And she like, okay, I gotta get my breath together for this 6th round. Nah, you got some rounds to go after that. And
Yeah.
and that's when your body start to break. That's when Ivan Drago he started getting hit and he started getting
Mm-hmm.
hurt because he's not used to going that far. You know what I'm
Nah.
saying? And and
Yeah.
that's when you become mortalized is when you get
Yeah.
tired. So Clarissa Shields by knockout.
Okay. Yeah, man. But shout out to my cousin Jason, man. My his sister Shalonda, his wife Mickey, man,
For sure.
and all the fam, man. I'll make sure I'm sure with all of them, man. But happy for the young sister, man. I hope she goes out there and gets. I'm predicting a W anyway, but we got a little different. I'm thinking decision, but you never know, man. That condition may be a kind of factor in the championship rounds, man. You go that 9 or 10th round. Those
Yeah.
championship rounds they get heavy. You know what I'm saying? So
Hmm.
I mean, we'll see what if she can hold up to that onslaught because we already know them hands is coming from Clarissa Shields.
Yeah, yeah, but one thing I forgot to do, man, real quick, follow the crew, man. Hey, we are Kurt Steele, man. He on TikTok, he on YouTube, Twitter, Facebook. I mean, he just do it all, man. Kurt Steele 14. You follow our guy LL Cool Torrance and My High Media on Instagram and YouTube, and you already know you can follow me, man. I'm on Twitter, YouTube. I'm on the book. I'm on all of that, man. That's we all do what we do, man. Follow us, man. We don't put this up here for nothing. We put it up here for y'all to follow us. You know what I'm saying? So yeah, just follow us, man. Let us know what's good. But yeah, man. So just a little parting words, man. Your parting thoughts, real quick. What you got to
Yeah,
say,
happy
Kurt?
happy Black History Month, man. It ain't going away. And this is a big part of Black History Month. This fight tonight, man. So make sure you tune in, man. You know what I'm saying? I got my Muhammad Ali, the greatest. So I'm representing for the greatest and the new greatest, the GOAT, man. And uh, have a happy Sunday, man. Tune in tonight, man. And we're gonna be you're gonna catch us tomorrow, man, on the other on the other show on the channel,
Yep.
man. Of course, Boss Up All Our podcast. So make sure you got you for cover for some Lions information tomorrow morning, man. So check us out. But
Yes, sir.
it's an honor being on the Beyond the Ropes playlist with you, man. I love talking boxing. I gotta do this again.
Oh yeah, definitely, man. I thank you a lot, man, for coming on and sharing it, man, and make it more interesting, more, like a, more conversation than just me talking and bullet pointing and all of that, man. So I
Yeah,
really thank you, man. And hey, tonight's the night. And the thing is, I want y'all to know that even though it's a Sunday, their ring walk time is not till 10:50. So if you gotta take a nap, you better take a nap. Hey, I do too, Kurt. I ain't gonna lie, I ain't gonna hold you up. I'm
man.
almost 42, man. I gotta take a nap.
I'm
You know what
53.
I'm saying? Yeah, probably
Yeah.
about 7 o'clock. I'm gonna lay down. You know what I'm saying? And then I'm gonna wake up about 9:30. So then I'll be
Yep.
fully refreshed. Yeah, you know how to do it, man. But yeah, man. Thank you for tuning in to Beyond the Roads, brought to you by the Boss Up Ball Out podcast, man. And we're gonna check y'all. We're gonna check y'all out real soon, man.